Hey everyone, how are you? My name is Dan Watson. I am 30 years old. I'm very glad to be in this leadership class. I love leadership, and kind of give you a little bit of background about myself. I was born in a little one horse town called Chicago, Illinois. You may or may not have ever heard of it, but if you haven't, it's in northern Illinois. But I wasn't raised there. I was actually raised in Alabama. I was North Central Alabama. Roll Tide roll. I was raised in a town called Coleman, and it was a lot of fun. Absolutely loved it. Great high school, great experience there, and I lived there for the majority of my life. Moved back up to Chicago for a little bit, but moved back down ultimately to the South. Absolutely love the South, and I also worked at a church there. I worked at a church called Daystar Church, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of great experiences. It's a real big church, three different locations, one in Madison, Alabama, one in Coleman, or Good Hope, and then another one in Hartselle, Alabama. So if you ever get the chance on a Sunday, drive on down there. I recommend trying it. Um, Talk to the one of the pastors there. They're fantabulous people, absolutely wonderful. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm also, I guess, the most important thing that I've neglected to mention is that I am married to the most incredible woman alive. If she was here, she'd tell you. She's actually shopping right now. So she's absolutely wonderful. We don't have any kids yet, but we want to have some eventually. So yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this. It says mention your age. So I am 30. I'm 30 years old, 30 years young in August. So I'm still in my 20s. So I got plenty of time. So I tell everybody I'm 30 though. So anyway, it says what are my current ministry activities? Um, right now, I actually am not involved in. I'm going to speak outside the four corners of a church. Okay, so my ministry activities are more involved at my workplace. The people that I get to invest in, the kids that I get to invest in. I work at Chick-fil-A in Columbia, Tennessee. I don't know if I mentioned that in the background, but I moved up here, which was a great move. It was 7 months ago. As of actually, I think today or tomorrow, it'll be like a full 7 months. So my wife and I moved up here after working for the church. We really feel like we were called by God to do that and to invest in some of the youth here, and that's what we've been doing. So we get to work with some of the youth. We get to really invest in some of the lives of some of the leaders here, and we absolutely love it. We've loved it from day one, and we have not turned back. So, talking about the current ministry activities in our church, we prayed for a church to go to whenever we moved up here, and it took us 2 or 3 months, and then we found it. And it's called the Bridge, and God loved us so much that He allowed them to launch a campus that is 9 minutes away from our house, which is really cool because I don't really like commuting that much. But anyway, it's 9 minutes away from our house. It's an ARC church. It's really cool. We haven't gotten involved in any of the ministries yet. We're still looking around to see which one we want to be involved with. I was over like tech arts and outreach at my church, so I feel like I have a good set of talents that I can invest in those people there in that realm. So yeah, that's my current ministry activities. As far as moving on to the B portion, it says, "What does it mean to be a Christian leader?" And I think the best model is always to look at Jesus. Who is Jesus, right? Christian leader. What did he do? He influenced his followers to point to himself and to the Father. So that's what he did, and I think that's what it means to be a Christian leader. To be more like Christ and to lead those who are far away from Christ to a meaningful relationship with Jesus. That's what it means to be a Christian leader. And the second part, it says, "What is the difference between leadership and Christian leadership?" Well, that's great. So we'll start with the first part. What is leadership? Let's define it. John Maxwell says that leadership is influence, and I think he is 100% right. He says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And that's true, because when you're leading someone, you're taking someone from one place and bringing them to another, right? Whether you're leading them to go to, let's say, I was leading my wife to go to the store. So me and her are going to go to the store and we're going to get some tasks accomplished and then we're going to get back. That's what I let her to do. And that's what leadership is. You're influencing people to do one thing or another. So now that we know that, I think we can bring a closer definition to what is Christian leadership. And Christian leadership is going to be influence. So we still have that main premise, which is Christian, or that is leadership is influence. But now we're going to define it a little bit more clearly, and we're going to say Christian influence. So it's leading those people to be more like Christ. Yeah, we're going to influence them to be more like Christ. You have leadership as influence, so it's influencing Christianity. We're going to lead people to be more like Christ. Third question says, what biblical passages inform your understanding of leadership? So there are a lot of them. Basically, the whole Bible, all 66 canonized books are going to tell you something about leadership. I like how in Romans it talks about how people are gifted with leadership, right? So we know that God gives the gift of leadership. And we know that with that, if the Holy Spirit is involved and if it's an actual gifting, then people are going to go really far with it. So that's cool. That's a fun thing to think about. Next question says, what are questions that you have about Christian leadership that you hope to have answered in this course? I always absolutely love to learn about leadership. I am a student of leadership. I'm a student of John Maxwell, and I love it. I'm not saying I have arrived either, but some of the things I would like to know is, how do I lead people closer to Christ? Okay, so like if leadership is influence, then how do I do that in a Christian context? Okay, so if there is a guy who is struggling with depression, and the last thing on his mind is, I want to hear about Jesus. I want to hear about, he's thinking about how not to kill himself. Now, how do I lead somebody like that to a closer relationship with Christ? I want to see if this class can do that. And thus far, through the 4 components that I've learned in the leadership book, and then also skimming through some of the pages on the other leadership books, I'm really excited. I think this class offers a lot, and I can learn a lot from it. So I'm really, really excited. And I even told my wife that she needs to be reading these books too. So it's a challenge to her. So we'll see which one of the two of us know more about leadership at the end. So I'm really excited about both of them. And I'm excited about this class. I'm excited to learn from all of you guys. I know that each one of you have your own different realms of thought and perceptions on leadership. So I'm really excited to learn from you guys. I'm super excited about that. So if you have any questions, comments, testimonies, feel free to post them below. I'll make sure to answer them. If you're not a Crimson Tide fan, that's fine. Maybe I can lead you to be closer to a good football team at the end of this course. So anyway, guys, this has been a lot of fun. If you have any more questions, or if you want me to go into any detail, deeper detail rather, about any of this, just let me know, and I'd be happy to share that with you. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a great day.